Hello and welcome to Spotlight Indie's big weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're tuned in live, it's great to have you. I'm Frasier Armitage, part-time robot, full-time nerd. You all know me. But let's introduce you to everybody else because these are the guys that you came to see. This is a panel that needs no introduction. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. First of all, let's hop down to the lovely Daniel. So Daniel, tell people a little bit about you and hi, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm Daniel Kubal. I just want to be Adrian when I grow up.
I just want to be Adrian when I grow up.
Run the Fantasy and Sci-Fi Fanatics podcast. I'm actually starting my 5th season with author King Williams this Monday. So 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So pretty excited about that. I have my own stuff coming up really soon. I'm going to release in this spring for urban fantasy and some dark fantasy stuff. And again, I'm just trying to be Adrian when I grow up as a big podcaster. So
amazing.
Thanks, man, I'm so flattered.
And an author too. Sorry, Adrian. And as an author too. I just think that Adrian up on my.
Do you just have a poster of me behind your monitor or something?
Yeah.
His pseudonym is going to be like Adrian, like N. Gibson, like just like one tiny little thing away. Like, so if everyone wants to be Adrian, tell us why. Like, hi, by the way, but like, who are you?
I mean, I'm a full-time dad and like a part-time mushroom. Is like my version of Frasier's intro. But I am a full-time dad and probably a part-time mushroom. I've done enough that there's some inside me, and I'm the author of Mushroom Blues, which is my debut novel, first book in the Hoffman Report series and the Fungalverse shared universe. And then on top of that, I am the creator co-host of SFF Addicts podcast, which I co-host with MJ Kuhn and Greta Kelly, and have a really fun time doing that. And hopefully y'all have checked that out at some point. And on top of that, I'm a book designer, illustrator, graphic designer, tattoo artist. So kind of dipping my toes in many creative hats. Yeah, Krystle's got some of my ink.
Yeah.
And now it's your turn, birthday girl. Go for it.
Well, I was going to ask Adrian. I was going to be like, who do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be Krystle.
Oh yeah.
I'm not there yet. I gotta get to Adrian.
I mean, she got donuts. She got donuts
no
for her birthday. Like I want donuts for my birthday.
Goals. Donuts and beer.
Donuts and Guinness, man.
Yeah.
Krystle, tell us.
Full-time.
Sorry, I realized that you are such a pro. You're totally just going to go into it already, but then I was like, maybe you won't. Like,
I mean, you threw a bunch of people who know each other on the panel.
Yeah, exactly right.
I'm also a full-time parent, just like Adrian, probably a part-time mushroom, though I haven't consumed as many as he has.
There are some other things.
I also write and stuff. So my debut, my old debut, like it's like 5 years old now. 4 years old.
Feels like yesterday.
What is time? Yeah, I know, right? Brightwash, Legacy of the Brightwash was a Spiffbo finalist on cycle 7. I'm losing my earbuds. And then it has its sequel out, the Legacy of Brick and Bone, which is huge, and you can use it as a weapon, which is why I put boxing gloves on the cover. And I'm also in a couple of anthologies, including this one that was put together by the fabulous Holly Tinsley, who happens to be here with us. And I'm one half of the Dripping Bucket podcast that's currently on hiatus because we're both drowning in our personal lives, but we'll get back there. I'm also a columnist at Grimdark Magazine. So issue number 44 just went out and it looks really cool. I think that's it. I think I got everything now. I'm getting better at listening the stuff.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like,
it's so surreal. It's so surreal. Like I think Canadians and British folks have a lot in common where it's like really, it's very much against our instincts to like list our own accomplishments.
or to publicly be proud of our accomplishments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it took me like a really long time to actually remember the list. And then as I say it every time, it's like, how did I get here? This is the coolest list of things that I could be talking about on a public platform. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And when you're like hosting stuff, like, because everybody here
Yeah.
is like hosting podcasts and stuff, you don't get to run through the list, right? Because you're doing the list for everybody else. But like when you get here as a guest, it's like, oh, hang on, do I do all of this? It's like, yeah. I can see why Adrian wants to be you, Krystle, 100%.
I feel like he climbed past me. Like I remember back in the day. Yeah, whatever. I remember like back in the day, back when we still enjoyed Twitter. We crossed paths, I think, talking about Anthony Bourdain, and like you hadn't started your podcast yet or anything, and it was just like this is
that was when I started at Fanfi Addict, and I was like, you were just literally like a month or two away from starting SFF Addicts. Yeah. Right.
And so we started talking about like Anthony Bourdain and tattoos, and then it was like, all right, that's it. we're
the rest is history.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like it's one of those moments where it's like we're friends now. Yeah, we're friends now.
yeah, clearly.
What's that? Is it Step Brothers? Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
Like, do you like this?
Best
like,
friends?
We're best friends.
Exactly. That was me and Adrian. The Venn diagram started overlapping an awful lot. I think that Michael Pollan was also on the Venn diagram, and it was like that's it.
The Venn diagram is now like pretty much
it's the amoeba now.
Yeah, full amoeba status.
Yeah.
That brings us all the way around to Holly. Holly, I mean, we all know who you are, but tell everybody just in case they don't.
Just in case they don't. So I'm H.L. Tinsley. I am an author. I'm also the diabolical genius behind Spotlight Indie, which Frasier is now a major component. I, like all other authors, have a poster of Adrian M. Gibson behind my desk just to inspire me on a daily basis.
There's some weird parasocial shit going on here today.
The Krystle statue.
Is it parasocial?
Who is distributing these posters? It's like going to a convention and finding those ribbons that say "I know R. Beard."
I don't know.
Just wait until you see the tattoo that Frasier's got. I mean, I've seen it. The likeness, it's uncanny.
His entire back is just like it.
Yep.
Oh no, it's in a much more intimate place, Adrian.
Of course it is, dude. Of course it is.
And when I grow up, I would like to be Alex S. Bradshaw, because he is the great adult of Spotlight Indie, whereas the rest of us are all, well, it's this. So.
We're gonna welcome some of the guys who have joined us in the chat. Thank you for being here. Jamie, good evening. Mark, hello. Joe, great to see you. Hi. Tufty, ahoy. Thank you. Thanks for the good wishes, Joe. Yeah. Hello. That's Alex, right? Is it a frog?
Alex, yes.
And Tim. Everybody's here.
Hi, Tim. With snacks.
Tufty is enjoying the Grimdark magazine, Krystle, so that's a win for you there.
Thank you, Tufty.
And has enjoyed hearing the origin stories, which is great. Tufty also asks, is there a 2026 calendar coming?
I mean, I did talk to the folks at the Broken Binding in Glasgow last year about doing a sort of like a firefighter type calendar, but for SFF.
Absolutely.
Just with everybody's books.
And you're the cover model.
No. It's like my basically my book would cover my genitals. Yeah. And I would and since it was in Glasgow, it was like we would be like, laying on a mossy bed in the Scottish Highlands or something like that. So.
You have the pre-order link for that, Frasier?
I need I need a copy of
pre-orders in the description.
We'll put it in the description, yeah.
Just picturing the iconic American Beauty image with the rose petals, but with mushrooms.
Yeah. And then there's Fraser off camera just like dumping a basket of mushrooms on top of me.
We've got to keep up our traditions, Adrian. This is it. It's like, you do it once, that's it, you're hooked. In terms of what you guys have done so well in sort of your emergence into the indie world is creating a platform, so creating a readership, creating an audience, connecting with people. You've done it in lots of different ways. Obviously, we've got sort of like podcasts is the obvious one, but like Krystle's mentioned, like you got magazine contributions, like Adrian, with like Fanfi Addict and blogging and all of these different things. the purpose of this panel is basically just to take a deep dive into the pros and cons, your experiences with that for any indies who are thinking of taking a similar route.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, let's just throw it out there, sort of like, what is the best thing about all of the stuff that you've done to be able to create these platforms for yourselves? What's the number one sort of perk?
It's going to sound super corny, but truly it is the friends that you meet. And me and Adrian were just talking about this recently, so I know he agrees with me. So I'm trapping him. Where
don't make my opinions like.
I already know your opinions. Yeah. I found it.
We hang out a lot, and therefore you do know my opinion, so you can talk. It's
okay. Where was I going? Adrian. Yes. Okay. So before I arrived in the community and started making friends, I really did think about writing as a solitary thing. And like, I would look at, the acknowledgements pages on some of my favorite authors and go, man, how do you meet so many people who are as nerdy as you? Like, that's crazy. I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. And then lo and behold, I absolutely did. And I know for a fact, I wouldn't have gotten as far as I have without the amazing people that have helped lift me up. And I don't think I would have had the stamina to keep doing all of the things all by myself if it were not for the community and how they kind of cover you a little bit when you need a break, and they lift you up when you're ready to stand up, and it is a really healing thing to be in community with so many great people, and it makes so much of it worth it.
And those people will actually celebrate your successes when you
fully
able to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they'll remind you to take a break and celebrate your successes when they see you like spiraling and stuff. So, surrounding yourself with people who get it and get you specifically is a real bonus.
Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with Krystle. She knows my opinion, so it's like did it. But just kind of building on what you're saying, though, it's like not only is it really beneficial to have these friends, have this community, it's like people that you can rely upon, right? And you can just send them a DM or you can send them a message and know that they'll be able to help you out in some way. And then being able to reciprocate that with your skills is a really beautiful thing. And it's not just like emotional and psychological support. It's, I've become friends with like my cover artist. I've become friends with editors. I've become friends with authors that I've met through the podcast that I'm confident enough to ask them for a blurb or something like that. And so it's kind of like we are all able to support each other in so many different ways beyond just like our interpersonal relationship. We can also help each other out in myriad ways in the professional realm as well, to make sure that like we're all in love with stories and storytelling. We want to put books out there. And Frasier, this is something that always happens with you and me. You'll show me like something like, here's like what I'm thinking for my cover, and I'm just like, give it to me. Because like I need to / I know I can make it better, because I want you to be able to put out like the best possible book that you can, right? And so it's like I have my skill set and I want to be able to utilize that skill set to help my friends out, and vice versa. Like a lot of my friends have really valuable skill sets and we're able to do that kind of give and take with each other.
I was just going off that with Adrian. Like I actually just messaged Adrian like last month, I think it was. I was like, my urban fantasy like first cover. There's a few things like it was amazing, but there's a few things I don't think I did right. And I was like, hey, check this out. And Adrian and I discussed that. Well, back when Mike was doing was actually.
Is Daniel like glitching out?
I was about to say so. Like, what's going on with Daniel? Like, we got the
He has supplanted you as the part-time robot.
Yeah. That's
we
better.
can hear you again.
And we're back.
Okay, you're back. You're back, Daniel. Go for it.
I was just saying you were all amazing. I was just saying like when I was first starting, like I thought like everybody like was asking for stuff like about 5 years ago. I felt like which was fair, right? Like everybody needs stuff, but I was like, well, what am I going to provide? And so I talked to like Michael R. Fletcher and a bunch of people on like the Wizards, Warriors, and Words crew. And I was like, hey, how do you guys provide services to people in the indie community in particular? So that was really cool. And it started from that to what I agree with Krystle and Adrian, where all of a sudden I just like have a bunch of friends in the community. And it turned from meeting a stranger to then, you know, just hanging out with my friends all the time. My wife will say that. She's like, you're not going to work. You're not going to do podcasts. You're just going to hang out with your friends. And it's fair. So, because we talk about stuff all the time. And yeah, I agree with Adrian. It's really fun when you can actually like help somebody with stuff. Like Aaron Cordy's been in my podcast group and kind of getting up there with subscribers, and I've been like pushing him all day. So if everybody could just check him out, he's almost at 500 subscribers. And that's a really big accomplishment, but everybody needs help. And it feels good, like Krystle was saying, to be able to like have so many other people. Holly Alpha read for me for my novella, so that was like beyond helpful, like her and Logan D. Irons. And then Sarah Torn. So without the people that I've met through podcasting and through the community, I wouldn't be anywhere at all. So everybody's been awesome.
Every time I record and like my son just like, you know, catches me, he's just like, oh, you're gonna record with your friends? And I'm just like, yeah. Even though it's like, no, it's Joe Abercrombie or some shit. And I'm just like, he's not my friend, but like, you know, in my heart of hearts. But it's just really cute when he says that.
I mean, I think we're going to establish very early on that this is definitely going to be the corny panel, and there is going to be a lot of love in this panel. But I think for me as well, one of the really important components that you know, we probably should mention is the fact that doing this does make you a better professional as well. The friendships and the community and the support is a wonderful thing to have, but through having these discussions and conversations, you learn so much from different perspectives and from people who are more experienced, more seasoned in the trenches than you are. And, you know, people in this industry are very giving in terms of, you know, helping each other out. And especially in those early days where, you know, we're all fumbling around in the dark and trying to find our way and you know, how to avoid the pitfalls, how to avoid the traps. So knowing that you have those people that will come in and say, well, actually, hey, I fell into this trap. Like, here's how you skip around it. That's an incredibly valuable thing to have.
Yeah, because so much of this industry is unfortunately very opaque. And it's not like you can just like go ask an agent or an editor like, hey, tell me about this. And it's like, no, you kind of have to talk to another author, and authors are very generous with their time and very willing to share their experiences. But even then there's like still degrees of transparency, right? Like a lot of authors in trad are like afraid to talk about certain aspects of the industry and their experience and everything like that. I feel like in self-pub, it's kind of like we're all going through this trial by fire. And so we're very open to being like, hey, I was burned viciously by X, Y, and Z. Just be aware that like this is something that might happen to you, right? And just wanted to comment on something Joe mentioned in the chat. He said, I want to hear more about the enemies you've made in the indie community. I will say,
oh, don't worry, we've got a pin in that grenade.
Just like next channel. Just not necessarily terming it enemies, but you will find your people. There are some people who you will definitely not click with, and there are a lot of people in this community that I have not clicked with, and that's totally fine. Because it's like going into like high school or something like that, and expecting like everybody's going to be friendly, buddy, and it's like, no, there are cliques, you know. And in any community there are cliques, and that exists in self-publishing, that exists in publishing as a whole as well. But you will find your people, you will find the people that you click with, and cherish that, you know. And hopefully you don't make any enemies along the way. But I know, Joe, you like to be a little bit controversial sometimes, so it's okay.
Joe will try and make everybody enemies of each other. It just
yeah. He's like you know, he's like Saruman, like sending the Uruk-hai to Helm's Deep and just waiting for shit to explode. Let's just watch and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm gonna say is we all know the saying: you keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Isn't that right, Frasier?
Thankfully. Yeah, cheers. No, I feel like you guys are raising some really, really good points that I just want to pick up on, which is, you know, that you're making friends, you're making professional connections that can help you out. But have you noticed that there's been an improvement to your writing because of the platform that you've built? Like, is there, if you were to sort of like track it on a graph, the bigger the platforms got, has the better your writing got, in your experience, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a natural culture diffusion, like talking to Holly, Krystle, Adrian, separately, on my podcast. Like I will always, like Adrian and I will, if we like message something, I'm like, ooh, that's a good idea, or have a question or something. Holly and I've asked her questions before on my writing in particular. And like a lot of times, like somebody will say something, I'm like, God, that's such a good idea. And then I'll run with that, or I'll see how I like to interview people before I read their books now, because it's the director's cut. And I see how and why they're trying to do things, and if that landed right. And then I learned a lot of lessons from that. So I think without doing that on my podcast in particular, watching Adrian's or Krystle and Mike's too, they've had some amazing people on. I learned a lot from everybody. So I watch other people's podcasts. I'll go into the lives. So it's just super, super, helpful just to get that extra feedback about what people are trying or doing in the community. So
I think yes, and it can. So at the beginning, I think is when I got the most growth, because coming to Twitter and watching authors that were a lot further down their publication journey talk about how they refine the revision process is probably the thing that got me to like a publishable novel, because there was so much that I didn't know about what editing meant when it was commented so briefly in the acknowledgement section. Right. And so that was like a big level up situation for me. And then, kind of by trial and error, listening to other people talk about their processes and, trying different things for me to see what works and what doesn't. But it becomes a bit of a double-edged sword where there's a period there while you're growing that you have to start deciding what hills you're willing to die on, and what style choices you feel are really important to you and are worth keeping and not throwing away because at that moment on social media they're not popular or things like that. I think every so often when we've seen like everyone hates first person POV now on social media, and it's like the talk of social media for a week or two for some reason, and then the next month is everyone hates third person point of view. So there's a little bit there that it's like, if you you do need to make some decisions about like, no, I'm not bending on this thing that's important to me for now. Or else you kind of get blown every which way a little bit. And so it's a little bit of figuring out, like, take stuff in, but then the stuff that doesn't work for you, you don't have to listen to it. You can just reject it and like purge it out of your system and forget it was ever said to you. So the thing about writing is it's so personal and so unique for everybody, as writers and as readers. So we don't have to take all of the advice all at once. It's good to know what advice is out there, but having a personal strength in what you believe in as a writer is super important.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because like, since I started SFF Addicts, like I know there's been like an exponential curve of my writing craft and growth. And it's kind of like, I wouldn't necessarily like the two are equal, there are like different points where I felt like a huge leap forward in terms of my writing, or where like this year in particular, like the podcast had a huge leap forward in terms of like its growth and its reach and everything like that. But because I started the podcast with the intention of like, I'm going to invite professionals on and pick their brains very selfishly, but then I'm also going to share it with everybody at the same time. Right. I don't necessarily learn equally from every single author. Like every episode I do learn something really incredible, but there are some where it's just like, holy shit, this masterclass was just like blew my mind. And really, like the one we did with Jim Butcher, for instance, that one was just like, oh my God, like it got me thinking so much about structure and things like that in ways I hadn't before. And like Krystle said, it's like you take in all this information, whether it's from like our podcast guests or whether it's from our friends or people on social media, and none of it is prescriptive. Like you have to be able to pick and choose, like, this is the thing that I want to experiment with and kind of meld into my pre-existing process. And if it doesn't work, then I ditch it. And if it does work, then I hone that. Yeah. But for anyone to say like, this advice is something you have to do, and there's so much out there. And the fact is we're in self-publishing, like we can experiment all the time.
Yeah.
This is truly where writing can be experimental, because traditional publishing is not going to gamble on an experiment. And so it's really important to understand, like, yeah, you can have like exponential growth and increase your skill in writing craft in conjunction with like the growth of your community and your connections and all that kind of stuff, and just the information that you're seeing out there and absorbing. But at the same time, it's like, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. And don't feel like you have to force it in order for you to feel like you are conforming to something that seemingly works for somebody else.
Yeah. Both on a craft level and also like in a wider genre.
Yeah, I mean, this can apply to like marketing. This can apply to design. It can apply to so many different things, not just my writing craft, you know. And it can also apply to like the content creation side of things as
what
well.
Apps
like,
you use and
like you know, do you do your podcast in just audio or audio and video? Like, do you feel pressured to do it in video? Why would that be beneficial to you or detrimental? And so it's like a lot of experimenting with this stuff.
Well, it's like Herman Stewart Angle was using Riverside, and I had noticed, you know, like his camera work and stuff. Like the quality was just better for podcast, greatest podcast in the multiverse. Great guy, helps me out a lot. We talk all the time, but like I was like, hey, I got to switch this. I want to know how you're doing your YouTube shorts. I just don't have time, right? I don't have time to fix audio and stuff. I have a little bit of time to edit. I'm a full-time dad too, and a teacher. It's like, all right. So I'm like, what am I going to do? So I asked him, and he was like, dude, I use Riverside. I'm like,
because Riverside has built-in tools for making clips.
It's amazing. And like some of the stuff that I was using before for software was just not as good, in my opinion. That maybe it's like how I was using it, right? But I just found personally, like, that saves me so much time. I have over 400 videos I'm uploading either like this week or today, literally because of Riverside, like tonight at like 7:30 p.m. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that, right? That's going to be almost double the amount of videos I have on my platform right now. If it was not for me asking Herman, just being like, hey, what are you using and how are you using it? And he helped me through the like beginning process too. So I agree with you, Adrian and Krystle. Like, it's not just writing and craft. It could be like, you know, how to build your platform.
Yeah, because like
content.
The whole thing about having a platform is ideally so that it also sells books. And, you know, once we have a book written, we have to then sell it. And that is actually the hardest part. I'm sorry to all of those of you who may be listening and are suffering through the act of making a first book. I'm sorry to tell you that you're in the easiest part of the process right now. Everything that comes after this just is harder, but that's where the community comes in, because like they'll, you know, it's a marathon. It really is. It's this never-ending marathon of gathering skills.
But it's like the marathon and the marathon analogy. The marathon analogy. It's like there are water stations along the way.
Yeah,
and those
exactly.
Are your friends, and they're gonna be like, "Yo, dude, you are dehydrated. Have some like electrolytes."
Yeah, just throw this at your face.
Just like fucking splash some water in your face and like keep going, you know? Because there are certain things where it's like, if you don't ask, you're never gonna get an answer to it. And so the fact that it's like, I like what Herman's doing. What platform do you use? And no one's gonna be like super secretive and be like, I'm not gonna tell you like what I'm using, you know? But the same thing applies to who did your cover art, who did your design, who did your interior formatting, who did your editing, who did X, Y, and Z. Maybe you hire someone to do marketing stuff for you. That's stuff that you can ask people about. And especially if you have an acquaintance with them, even better if you have a friendship with them, to be like, can you tell me how you did this, or what your approach was, who you went with, who you hired, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for the most part, like, nobody's going to hide that stuff from you, you know? Maybe someone's going to be like, I don't want my cover artist to get big and then be like 10 times more expensive. But
every time somebody asks me
Mike
for
about
Zoe Badini's contact info, like I feel like my soul ascends to a higher plane. Like I gain extra time in heaven or something every time somebody comes to me and says, hey, I love Zoe's work that she did for you. Yes, I recommend her. Please go hire Zoe.
And it's like your cup of Guinness is just magically like refilled.
One thing I just want to mention, because I've been discussing this with some authors recently, is like I've seen people do really well with this. Where like for like an author YouTube channel, and I'm like, I was just discussing this with some people because I already have my platform, right? But like I'm also going to do the same thing with my author email. I'm just going to connect that. I've been slowly connecting author Daniel Kubal with my podcast, and I've seen a lot of people do this recently, and like they will literally do like 10 videos. I asked somebody, I was like, how do you do this? Like, I just set up 10 videos about my world building, about my writing, about my characters, or just my thoughts, favorite books and stuff. I put 10 down right off the bat, and they just like space them out schedule wise, and they'll share those. But then any other time they are doing something, they'll do like a 5 to 10 minute video. This is actually how like Brian Lee Duffy like started to do his a while back. And like he used TradPub at that point, I think, but he started it before that, if I remember correctly. And I've seen a lot of people kind of go back to this recently, and they slowly are starting to build their platform that way. Because like, why waste time? In my opinion, I just kind of use it sometimes for myself. I'm like slowly recording thoughts and stuff as I'm working through writing and getting to different points. And I figure I might as well just share those, because if you're going to do a social media post anyway, you might as well be sending people back. Not everybody uses TikTok, not everybody uses Facebook, but the amount of percentage of people that are on YouTube is actually growing compared to other platforms. So that's where I think it's been really good for people. And it's nice because you start to build your brand that way. So instead of just posting, be like, oh, I don't want to see this. Like somebody might watch a 2 to 5 minute video on your writing. So I'm going to start doing that more. But I've seen within the last 3-4 weeks, a lot of different authors have done that. And they're doing pretty well in terms of views. And they're getting up there pretty quick for subscribers too. So if anybody's out there and, is thinking about it, like, why not? It's a free account, and then you can use Zoom for free or something, or the free Riverside or StreamYard or whatever. And you don't even really need that good of a camera, because you're not interviewing anybody. You're literally just discussing your own work. I find that's the stuff that people want to hear about the most usually. That's why they go to podcasts. So, why not give them little tidbits around that on your own channel? Then anytime you do something like this, you could just like, I'll give anything. I've given, like I'll give a interview I've done for anybody at any point. I consider it like a joint thing. I know some people are weird about that for some reason, but I consider it like joint content for anybody that's on my, on my channel. So that way they can use the same thing or split it up however they want. I just think that that is a really good thing I've seen recently that I'm actually going to kind of take and try myself for my own author. So
and actually really YouTube just introduced like a collab feature, the same way that that Instagram offers you to like invite a collaborator for a reel or something like that. So it's like if you interview somebody and they have their own channel, you can basically just invite them to be a collaborator and it'll appear on both channels, kind of thing.
That's really smart.
The reason why Daniel raises a really good point, which is like for people who are thinking about it, sort of like, why not? I imagine a lot of people out there are thinking about it, but then on the flip side of that, they're probably thinking, but the amount of time that it would take to launch this type of platform would be taking time away from my writing. So it's really good to know that it's actually worthwhile time because it helps to improve the craft. It's not dead time that you're wasted that you could have been writing. So I'm really glad we've explored that, because I think that will probably put a lot of people off. One of the things that Tim raises.
Go for it, Holly.
I'm gonna come back to you, Holly, after I read this story. Hardest thing is knowing what questions you should be asking, and that is a really, really good point. Holly, go for it.
Yeah, no, it was just a really quick point. I wanted to jump on what you were saying there about, people thinking, well, I might start a YouTube, I might start a podcast, but it's going to take time away from my writing. Is not only does doing something like that really help to improve your craft purely through what you absorb from your guests and the questions you ask, but also what it does, it actually allows you to work out who you want to be as an author and as a person in this community, and it allows you to really craft that identity around yourself. So it expands beyond the writing and actually into kind of who you are as a person and how you present yourself. So from that point of view as well, it does really bring a lot of value to what you're doing.
And
I will say the
branding. Like
that's the thing though. That's the thing. It's like, yes, content creation is good for branding. But if someone's worried about anything that will take time away from your writing, it's actually marketing. Marketing your book is going to be the most time-consuming thing that you could ever do in relation to your book. Like the content creation stuff is literally just enhancing everything that I do writing wise, and invigorates me and inspires me to keep doing that thing. Marketing is one of those things where it's like, yes, it can lead to like direct sales and all that kind of stuff, but it's not like I can like spend a whole day marketing and be like, I'm so like excited to write. It's like, no, my brain is fried. Like I have no energy left.
Yeah, like why multiply?
And on that note, it is good to get into the habit before you have a book in hand that you're ready to sell. It's good to get in the habit of posting somewhere. And it's another one of those things where it's like, it's okay to pick 1 or 2 apps that suit your personality really well. You don't have to spread yourself, paper thin across every single app. If a certain format works really well for you, it's okay to just focus on that and get, build a community in that space, and get in the habit of posting there and figure out what goes over well, and what you enjoy doing, because you're gonna have to do it anyway if you want to sell books later. So figuring, like, doing a little bit of that triage before is super helpful, because then at least it's just more of the same. And for me, I came into the community when Twitter was still extremely viable and helpful. And I didn't know that I was building a platform and learning how to market. I was just like hanging out with writers. They were answering my questions sometimes. And then I was friends with Sam Hawk, which was like the coolest thing that had ever happened to me. And then all of those people were still there when I had the book in hand, and they were ready to support me. And so building the community and marketing and building it, like, it all goes into the same pot. Like, if you just put the time in, you're building things that you don't even realize you're going to need. And then all of a sudden you have a skill set that is going to pay off when you have a book to sell. And so, yes, it's going to take time away from your writing, but once you have a book published, you're going to have to figure out how to balance that time anyway. So it's okay. Like, it doesn't have to, you don't have to finish the book this month, this week, this year. You can figure out the balance of what this career marathon is going to look like.
One thing I think is really important to remember as well is that we're all talking about the fact that we do YouTube and interviews and podcasts and columns and magazines. You don't have to do that. We all function without sleep. This is how we do. If you can't do that, that's fine. We talk about building a platform. Building a platform can be in any format that suits you. It suits your life.
Stuff that you like to already do.
Exactly. If that is just purely posting on social media, you could build a platform that way. If it is just putting out a 2-minute Instagram video, that can build a platform. Your time should work to your schedule, and your time management should work around your life and around your writing to allow you to do all the things that you want to do.
And your natural interests and your personality style. And like, it's okay just to be yourself. You don't have to recast yourself into some, YouTube guru. If sitting in front of a camera and talking to people is absolutely the worst thing that you can imagine. You can do other things.
But the thing is, like, so much of this stuff happens naturally, right? Like, you may decide, like, this is where I want to start out. And then you start to acclimatize and figure out, like, okay, I can maybe introduce something else at this point. Like, it's not like Krystle started out, podcasting from the get-go, like, blah, blah, all this stuff. Like, no, if you were existing in, like, the public square that was Twitter at the time. And that evolved into other things over time.
6 years ago, if someone had told me that I would be a regular on YouTube, I would be like, absolutely fucking not. There's no way in hell that I would submit myself to that. I can't do public speaking. Like, there's no way. The first several panels, the first year or so of panels was nerve-wracking and horrible and anxiety-ridden. And, I would spend weeks on end agonizing of like, oh, did I offend somebody? And then I just got over it because it was too exhausting to be anxious about it for weeks on end after every single panel. And by then, most of the people that I was on panels with, like right now, are people that I was friends with. So I knew I could just have fun and talk about craft and marketing and business and stuff and have a good time. And so all of these things sound so huge and impossible when you're starting out. But that's why, I say start with the platforms that you like and just let it lead you to places and just show up and be fun to hang out with. And you'll find yourself, doing things that you never imagined you could.
And don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. Like, for example, so to give you like a little bit of lore. So I was like so like against having my face anywhere public because I wanted to do the world a favor, right? And
seem to remember, sorry to cut in, but I seem to remember you were doing like tech for one of the Fanfi Addict conventions.
Yeah, so,
and you had your camera off, so I think
Yeah.
this is the first time I've seen your face, even though I've known you for a few years now.
I know, right? When
Yeah.
when Adrian changed the format of SFF Addicts, he was looking for
Right.
somebody who might be able to help out with some of the extra interviews that he couldn't schedule into the show for all of the other authors. So he said to the Fanfare Addict team, anybody want to sort of like come on camera and do sort of like some interviews? And I was like, I can do interviews, but I don't really want to be on camera. And it was so against like what I was comfortable with. And Adrian was just like, just go for it, dude. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
And I've been doing that for like 3 years now. And I've been the host of the Spotlight Indie like channel where my face has been on YouTube every week for like this like 9 months, and it's like,
and you haven't yet burst into flames.
I know, right? The world hasn't ended.
That happens off camera.
Yeah.
After.
Yeah.
But
yeah, your poor wife and son have to deal with all the smoke in the house.
Oh, the trail of soot that he leaves behind.
It's good. Nobody can smell the smoke, through this. It's fine. In terms of like, if I hadn't actually just pushed outside of my comfort zone and not been prepared to do that, I wouldn't have had all of this great exposure and made all the friends that we've made. Like, it's
right.
So it is good sometimes to just, if there's something that you're scared of, it's good to challenge that and just say, well, why am I scared of it? What's the worst that could happen here?
Yeah, because like that's been like my mantra for like my entire adult life. Like Joe mentioned in the chat, like if you're an extrovert, it's really worth your time to engage with the community in some way. It will pay back your energy tenfold.
Oh yeah,
even if you're not an extrovert.
This is how I figured out that I'm an extrovert, by the way. I used to think I was an introvert, but it turns out I'm just friggin' weird and I can't relate to regular people. Right. But as soon as I found my fellow weirdos, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, and you can just be like, you can be like a community of extroverted weirdos, or like my co-host MJ always says, like, she is an extroverted introvert in the sense that she can be extroverted for certain periods of time. Like, she can go to a convention and she'll be chatting with people for days and days, and then afterwards her social battery is just drained and she's just like, I don't want to see a single human being for like the next week. And that's totally fair. Like, you can work within your limits, and it's like, if you don't push yourself outside your comfort zone, like, I look back at 4 years of doing SFF Addicts and like all the people we've chatted with on the channel, Frasier, just like, if we didn't take that opportunity to just say like, okay, will this person say yes if I invite them to do an episode or like an interview or something like that? You will never know if you don't ask them, do you want to do this? Like, we just, like MJ and Greta and I just did like
happen is they say no, and then you ask.
Nobody's gonna be a dick about it and say like, screw you.
My first season I had Sean and McGuire. Like I like what Krystle said. Like, we were on Twitter and I was talking to her all the time about comics and stuff. And I was like, hey, and I looked up her books and stuff, but I didn't realize like how big. My friends were like, why is she on your show? For that one, they'll be like, holy crap. And like, Sean was amazing. Like, I learned
she's
so
great,
much.
Man. She's great.
Yeah. But I was like, seriously, like my friend was like, I can't believe you had like the guts to like message somebody like who's published that many books. I'm like, I don't know. I just was trying to talk to her because I thought, she had really cool writing and, really cool stuff. But if I don't know, it's like, I agree with Adrian. If you don't do things like that, like, but also I think I also think you should also like what Holly I think said, like, play to your strengths. I'm a talker. I'm a teacher. I used to be a salesman. Like, I like to talk to people in person or online, and I can get things out of people. Like, I'm just used to that, right? And I think that also, like, going with what you're good at too. Like, some people, like Aaron Cordy's really good at like book reviews, and like he'll say stuff where I'm like, holy crap, I have to go back and read that book again. And I think he analyzes books personally really well. So I think he's really playing to his strengths. And I think, if you do that, but also try and, get into your niche that way, I think it'll help you out a little bit more. So I have people come up to me all the time like, oh, you like fantasy, sci-fi, and all the subcategories. I put horror in there too because it's got some sort of supernatural or, fantastical elements. And it's nice, like what Krystle said earlier, is like people will start to attach those things to you. So now I have people ask me about anthologies or, being interviewed or whatever. So I agree with everybody was saying. And I think if you can, like what you're saying, like find where you fit in the community rather than where Krystle, Holly, or Frasier fits. I think that works the best. So, because we love people, particularly in the indie community, and like people new will come along. It's like that. What is it like? The Backstreet Boys come into like Hot Tub Time Machine at the end of like the second movie. Like all in heaven. Sorry, spoilers. But they're like, yeah, and they're just, like that's how the indie community is. Like we're all just like hanging out, having a great time, and when somebody cool comes in, we're just like, join us.
We're stoked. Yeah.
But it's not just the indie community. Like there's a lot of cross pollination, and it's really cool to be able to see,
especially as that boundary gets really thin.
Exactly.
Between, trad and indie, and then more and more people going hybrid, and different types of indie publishers popping up like that. Those lines are getting less and less defined as time goes on, and so we're talking from an indie perspective, but we know a lot of trad authors that are also really, really amazing, and will share an awful lot of their experiences and their how they work with editors and how it might be different from what we're experiencing. And people, the thing is this community is a bunch of weirdos who like stories. And it turns out that's a pretty big thing to have in common with somebody, and so there's a lot of space there for relationships.
Yeah, and it's like you can just like exponentially build your degree of comfort with certain things, and eventually it's like literally the biggest authors in this industry are also weirdos who love to write stories. And so it's like 4 years ago, like I never could have imagined that I would be on stage with like George R. Martin and Brandon Sanderson and Robin Hobb, and like we were able to do that at Worldcon because we stepped outside of our comfort zone and decided like, screw it, like I'm just gonna ask and see like
big,
will George Martin want to do this panel with us? Will Robin Hobb want to do this panel with us? Will Brandon Sanderson want to do this panel with us? All of them said yes. And that was as a result of us just being like, yeah, screw it, let's try, because if they said no, who cares? It's not going to be like,
you still get that badge of honor of like, I pitched to Brando Sando, he rejected me, but I pitched anyway, like but then you get Go ahead, Holly. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say it's like where you get it's like the standard response letters. Like George R.R. Martin was happy to receive your invitation. Oh, like, you frame it and put it on your wall.
I still have my first rejection letter from Tor. Like these milestones mean something, even if they're a big giant no and they don't remember it. Like they had to fill in my name with pen because they printed out like a
they know my name.
Rejection with a space for your name. Like, but I still have it. Like it's in one of my books somewhere.
You have it up next to your Adrian poster.
That was back. Yeah, that was back in the days of sending them in self-addressed stamped envelopes, which really ages me. But yeah,
if you take anything away from this discussion, take away the fact that building your platform is like
posters of Adrian.
Is like
you're gonna say something intelligent.
Backstreet Boys in Hot Tub Time Machine.
No, Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
Sorry, in the sequel. That to me is like the absolute, like there's no greater point than that we could ever make between. That is exactly what it's like.
Other than the point that we clearly all have posters of Adrian.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Oh, don't forget the pre-ordered calendar too.
It's like the Backstreet Boys, but they're all Adrian.
My face, not all of them. Sorry, Lance Bass. There's another blondie.
Oh man, I need to fire up Canvas. I'm fierce now.
I want it that way. Tufty asks a really, really good question. She asked it ages ago in the chat, but I just want to sort of like, I don't know Tufty. Tufty, I apologize if I used wrong pronoun, but Tufty said, where are you commonly receiving interview requests from? Video channels, podcasts, written articles? How do those requests find their way to you? Just give us a little bit of like behind the scenes as to how that actually works with the running of it.
Most of it is email for us. Because I will say this, like I barely check if it's like a request on like Instagram or some other platform, like I'm not checking those DMs very often. Just because it just gets like, I mean, especially nowadays there's so much spam that it's like tiring to be like, okay, I have to scroll through like 50 messages from some bot, and then there's one that may be from an author, right? And so it's like email is usually where we get the most requests, and even then it's kind of like it's been like a challenging thing for MJ and Greta and I to kind of decide on, is like how are we going to accept like interview requests and stuff like that for the show. And it's just kind of one of those hard decisions that we had to make, where it's kind of like we're just going to kind of invite the people that we want to have on and that we want to have
Yeah.
discussions with. We're also going to do this Indie Appreciation Month in the summer and bring on a bunch of indies to do panels and stuff like that. And then we also have the Fanfiatic YouTube channel, which is kind of gives us like a larger breadth of opportunities to have people on if they want to do an interview with you, or if they want to do like a launch party or something along those lines. And so like a lot of it comes through email. And even then it's kind of like, it's hard for me to kind of like go through and respond to every single one, let alone like 50% of them. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, like growth is awesome, but growth also comes with unintended consequences, side effects, where it's like, I cannot have every single author I want to on the podcast. I can't respond to every email that I want to.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to kind of jump on that a little bit, just because I feel like there's probably people going to watch this later who may be thinking like, well, I want to get into doing interviews. I want to get onto podcasts. How can I do that? You know, and we're kind of in the same boat as Adrian with Spotlight Indie, is that we really only organise interviews and things through invite. Part of the reason for that is because we lean so heavily into the advice. We will specifically choose people who we know have expertise in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
However, what I would recommend is that you get actively involved and engage with those platforms on social media. So share videos, comment on them, make yourself present in that community. So even if you're not talking directly to us, you know, people will start to see you. They'll start to see your books. They'll start to talk about you, and you will naturally start to get that traction. And then you can start looking at what podcasts would suit me to go on and do an interview, or, you know, what channels would work for me. And it is really important for us as well as platforms. We can only continue to do what we do if people are engaging and sharing. It's a two-way street. It benefits everybody, and it helps us all to grow organically together. So, you know, go and reshare that video, go and post up a comment on YouTube and say, I really love this discussion. It's such a massive part of getting your presence out there and getting our presence out there.
I join lives. I just live. I'll just go like from one live to another, because I want people to think about it, right? Like, so when I go, I do it under my podcast YouTube channel, right? So every time I pop up, someone says, hey, you know, to my podcast, or then they'll say my name, right? So if you're somebody like that, whether you're a creator, an author, or whatever, like, just think about it, right? You're helping somebody in their chat by being there, asking a question, but then people will go and see you later. It's free advertising.
Yeah, you know, well, you notice sometimes like the relationships and the friendships that bubble up in the chats, where like certain people will appear together as like a herd of like friends that, you know, go after certain podcasts and certain genres, and that, like, it's all part of building the community. And the more, if you show up and you put time in and you're fun to hang out with, you'll find these opportunities propagating in front of you, of people inviting you, and, you know, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And if you do want to pitch someone on your book, please include everything about the book.
Yeah.
Include your book cover, include your blurb, include information about your book.
Get the name of the podcast right in the email.
Name the people in the email correctly. Like, put the name of your book. Don't just say, I have a book coming out, would you like to interview me? I don't know what your book is. I don't know anything about it. Like, this immediately convinces me that you're like, take yourself professionally and take the people that you're contacting professionally.
Well, we just talked about this, me and Adrian, like on a post, and then I think I had messaged him or something. I was like, I'm getting like kind of tired of, like, I had 500 emails this summer, which I'm thankful for, right? But like Adrian said, it's hard to respond to everybody. And then so if I get to you and like you, like, I got a kid, right? Like, I just don't have time. Like, I work full time. Like, like, I just tried to do this to help people out. Like, but if you can't help yourself out, like Adrian saying, be professional. Like, there are people, I'm like, I'll put you to the back. No offense. Like, I need your book cover, you know, attached. I need the website. If I can't find your info, if I have to go and dig for your info, you're going to have to wait.
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
You just don't have time. So,
I think the other thing as well is there's sometimes with timings as well, people want it for a certain period of time, and you, like Adrian said earlier, like, your schedule might be full, or it might be the case that, you know, you want to give them a good interview, so you want to read their book, and that requires time. You know, it's, I mean, I've got people who I'm scheduled to interview, and I've had them scheduled for a while because I just haven't finished the book yet. And it's like, as soon as I finish that book, they're getting interviewed.
Mhm.
It's like, but it's one of those things of, it's just time management is something that can really easily slip away from you if you're not careful. So you've got to prioritize, and that means that you are going to give priority to the people who you know are like, right, I've sent you this way in advance. I've sent you all of the information. This is going to be as simple and easy for you as possible, because they're respecting your time.
Well, and that timeline, like, it goes into, you don't have to have all of this lined up for the day your book launches. You don't, like, it's your launch is not make or break. And although the trad cycle kind of puts a lot of pressure on your launch and
it convinces self-pub authors that they have to
do the same,
think in the same way, where it's like self-pub authors don't have to think of pre-orders in the same way that trad publishing does, nor do they have to think of a launch or first week sales in the same way that traditional publishing does. Therefore, it can be like,
that book is out, you can be
tail.
doing marketing for it for however long you have the energy to continue doing marketing for the same book. And so, like, you can on-ramp it slowly and build up, and as all of this community is building around you. And then, you know, because we get these stories of these overnight successes, right? But the reality is, you know, though these huge people in the industry, they had slow on-ramps. We just didn't see it because they were on-ramping really slowly. And then and then they became ubiquitous in the genre, and then everybody knew their name. And we get the impression that comes out of nowhere, but it doesn't. Like, Carissa has been publishing for, like, she published some books that she then delisted because they just weren't up to snuff once she learned more about her craft. And then Daughter of No Worlds published in 2020, and now it's 2025, and she's ubiquitous in the genre. But that represents years and years of her working and marketing and, you know, and getting herself out there. And so in indie, we have that opportunity to on-ramp slowly. So it's okay. You don't have to rush the podcasters. If they say, I'm sorry, my schedule is booked for the next 6 months, and your book is coming out next week, it doesn't matter. You can go and talk about your book in 6 months from now. It's still available for people to buy in 6 months from now. You don't, it feeds into that marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon, and you just keep plodding along, and then all of a sudden you've got, you know, however many followers and however many book sales and however many, you know, other things,
and hundreds of friends throwing water in your face along the way.
Throwing water in your face because you look like you're dying.
Yeah.
It took all the way till Hot Tub Time Machine 2 for the Backstreet Boys. You got to be patient. It'll happen. Just before we bring this to a close, it's been such a great chat. But Alex has been inspired from this, going to try and start making videos, which is great. And in terms of like free marketing, you can't get better than that. So,
there you go, man.
What's the book title?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we need the book title.
This is your chance.
And yeah, so while Alex is typing out the book title,
hopefully, let's go, Alex.
let's. I just want to say thank you for making the time, because obviously we want to respect your time. We don't want this to overrun. So thank you so much for being here. Just tell everybody where they can find you, because I know we talked at the start about, you know, who you are and everything like that, but just run through your socials and stuff. Just before we do. Carpentry in the Elven.
There you go. I'm imagining like cozy carpentry. Is that the vibe?
Yeah.
Actually,
are we talking elven forest? Are we talking like a forest of elves, or are we talking like a forest where elves live? Because that's two very different things, right?
Because I could imagine like all the elves in Lothlorien being like, "Don't you dare cut these trees down."
Yes.
So who knows what this carpentry business is about?
I'm just going straight to like cannibalism of like these elves who are growing out of the thing and they're just lopping them off.
It always comes back to cannibalism.
Always
for Frasier, yes,
yeah.
Well, Alex, I hope our speculation has something happened with Holly. I hope our speculation has helped cement carpentry in the Elven Forest in people's minds.
Yeah. Holly loved it too much. She's gone.
She left.
She's gone straight to the top. Hopefully, people are googling carpentry in the Elven Forest to find out if Frasier's right about the cannibalism.
Exactly.
There you go.
Cannibalism sells, people.
Yeah. Yeah, but don't be cannibals. Just write it. In terms of, can
we just close on that note? Nothing else matters.
Yeah. No more. That's it. In terms of sort of where people can find you, so let's work it around this way. So, Krystle, let's go to you first. Where can people find you?
Well, mostly. So, fortunately, the spelling of my name is really unique. So, if you just plug that into any social media, you'll probably find the right Krystle Matar. Mostly, I'm on Blue Sky and Threads, but I'm elsewhere. And then on YouTube, we're at the Dripping Bucket with me and Michael R. Fletcher, who's the creaky old granddad of Grimdark.
Adrian, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me at Adrian M. Gibson on pretty much every social media platform. Instagram's where I'm hanging out for the most part and like most active. And then you can follow SFF Addicts at SFF Addicts Pod. You can listen to that every Tuesday. We got new episodes coming out, author interviews, writing masterclasses. The WorldCom panel that I mentioned earlier, that's on YouTube and our podcast feed as well. So if you want to check that out, it's just like 2 hours of us chatting with like some of the coolest, biggest authors in the industry. Yeah. And then you can check out Mushroom Blues wherever you find books. That's ebook, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. Yeah, wherever you buy fine books, you can find it there. And then you can look forward to my upcoming novella, A Murder Most Fungal.
I'm so excited for that.
Still no set release date for that, but it's coming. So be prepared for some
marathon.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, Frasier's dumping mushrooms in my face during my marathon, but
who needs hydration when you have psychotropic?
And then I also do book design. You can head to my website and check out some of the stuff I've worked on. I've done covers for Frasier. I did the design and everything for Mushroom Blues. So if you need a cover design or interior design or anything like that, you can hit me up. And then I'll
totally recommend Adrian as a designer, because like if you see any of the pictures that he's done for Cage of Stars, that book is like art. It's absolutely gorgeous. Amazing, and it's all thanks to Adrian. So yeah, it's absolute pleasure to work with Adrian on that. So yeah, definitely go hit him up. Yeah, but just don't throw mushrooms. That's my thing. All right. Yeah.
If anyone else throws mushrooms at me, like I would probably be pretty offended.
Yeah.
Be like, we're not close enough for you to be able to get away with that.
Daniel, what about you? Where can people find you?
I'm so sorry, Frasier. I just got to say, like, reiterating that, like, if people might think they don't need somebody like Adrian's skills and help, but if you actually go and check out, like, like what he did with Mushroom Blues, and like,
it's so beautiful.
Yeah, like, I really want people to encourage people to go check that out. I am currently saving myself for services for Adrian. After I saw when you posted the other day, Adrian, I was like, holy crap. So yeah, my Urban Fantasy Book 1, I'm definitely looking for some help on that. So I just want people just to take a minute and actually go physically check out Mushroom Blues. Amazing book. Loved it. And yeah, check out the inside, because it was absolutely amazing. So
thanks,
did a great job there. Yeah, for sure. So you can find me at authordanielkublau.com, really across all platforms. I am a ninja. I am like everywhere. You think I'm not on the platform? I am. I'm like trying to use Blue Sky, X. I'm on Threads, Instagram. I have a podcast group on Facebook. Everybody's free to join. I'm not one of those people that restricts people on any day. You can come in, post whatever you want at any time, as long as it's book, movie, fantasy, sci-fi, whatever, horror, that kind of stuff is related to it. You can find us at the Fantasy and Sci-Fi Fanatics podcast. I got a website, YouTube channel. My 5th season, like I said, is coming out this week with Kane Williams. He was amazing. It comes out this Monday. We're switching to Mondays now, 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This Tuesday, I'll actually be on with Mike Mullen and his partner on Bald and Balling podcast, to discuss channel stuff, to discuss my prequel novella series for my Nathaniel Wither books. He's a monster hunter, so I got the prequel trilogy of novellas coming out in the spring, as well as book 1 the following year. So we're going to talk a lot about that stuff. I'll also be hosting a book live launch event with my friend Andrew Johnston for his upcoming book, The Scorch Hunter. That's going to be Friday, December 5th from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Nicholas Fuller is going to be there with his newly minted Nerdy Nebula podcast. Looks amazing. Chris from Bearded Book Beasts, Josh from Already Overbooked. We're going to give away a signed copy of The Scorch Hunter, so please check that out in our podcast group on Facebook. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Now take a breath, man.
You've got that. You've got
Daniel's doing a lot.
Holly, welcome back.
You're back.
Yeah. Did you leave and then finish Carpentry in the Elven Forest? Did
Yeah,
you
how
finish
was
writing
it?
that while you were gone?
Well, I have no idea how much you guys could, because I realised after about a minute that I'd been talking, because I was plugging the hell out of this book, and no one was realising.
Dang it.
Poor
Yeah,
Alex.
close.
Poor Alex.
I realised at some point that my internet must have glitched, so I thought I'd hop back out and come back in. So obviously I've missed a lot of good stuff, clearly.
I mean, Frasier talked about cannibalism, so you know the drill.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me in the least. But no,
It's like a timer, you know. How long does it take for Frasier
It's
to
like
get to
how many days since an injury on the workplace. It's like how many days since Frasier mentioned cannibalism, and it's always zero.
We actually.
It's like -0. That doesn't even exist, but it's like
we have Frasier Armitage bingo cards at Spotlight Indie. We keep them in the office at the headquarters. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how much I missed. I'm assuming that we're just doing outros, so I'm just gonna
plug yourself, Holly.
Smooth plugging, some marketing coming up. Right, yes, come on, Tinsley, get your brain back in the game.
Smooth plugging is just not gonna leave my head.
Yeah, as the title of your debut album, Smooth Plugging.
Yeah,
that is Holly's erotica novel coming out in 2026.
That's the Tinsley Matar co-authored erotica novel coming.
Yeah.
Year.
A lot of pre-orders
Yeah.
in the chat today, or the description. A lot of pre-orders.
It's actually going to be a series. It's going to be your first book, Smooth Plugging.
It's going to get rougher and rougher with rough plugging.
The third book is when Frasier comes on. It's cannibalism plugging.
Yeah, the cover of the third book is just sandpaper.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to buy my books after that, there is no plugging of any kind. God, it's just chaos now. So you can get the Vanguard Chronicles, We Men of Ash and Shadow, and The Hand That Casts the Bone are both available on Amazon and also on Audible in audiobook as well. You can also buy the standalone The Hallows. We also have plenty of content coming out on Spotlight Indie. I'm sure Frasier's going to talk about what's coming up in a minute. But one thing that I do want to just mention very quickly is that we are really, really focused on community, as you've probably worked out from this panel. One of the things that we like to do is shout out about causes that are really important to us. And over the course of the week, some of you may have noticed that after these panels, we have on some of them a little end title card that just talks about a charity and program that we're supporting at the moment called Give a Book. They're a program that take books into places where books are hard to reach, so disadvantaged schools, prisons, reform systems, and they just share the joy of reading with people who otherwise wouldn't get a chance. So I wanted to give a little plug to them. It's something that's very close to my heart, and we just would like them to be a little bit better known.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and then in terms of Spotlight Indie, go to the website spotlightindie.co.uk. Tune in to the YouTube channel. There's loads of content here. On the socials, if you find at Spotlight Indie, we're doing loads of giveaways as part of the big weekend here at Spotlight Indie. We will be announcing the winners of those giveaways in our final panel tomorrow. So tune in. If you do enter, tune in tomorrow and see if you've won. But definitely check that out because we've got loads of good stuff on there. And just, I mean, the very final thing I just want to say is to Joe. About the cannibalism, we're saying about don't tell me what to eat, Frasier, you're not my mum. I mean, I just want to tell you, Joe, like, I'm sorry it's taken this long for me to come out and admit it, but that statement, you're not my mum, I'm sorry, Joe, it's not totally right.
I mean, Frasier, sorry, to be fair, his cannibal meat has to be kosher. So
yeah,
he's kind of right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks, son, and for everybody else, thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Tomorrow, this is our final panel for today for the big weekend, but tomorrow it will all be kicking off with The Legacy of Dragons, which is a conversation all about dragons and mythical creatures, and it's awesome. So tune in and check that out from tomorrow. And in the meantime, thank you, everybody, and thank you for joining us, everybody here, and stay awesome, stay fresh, stay cool. See you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.